Oh,
Hiya. Okay, got it. Give me 2 seconds. Just sit there for 2 seconds, right?
okay. This sounds ominous, guys. I've got no idea what she's going to do. No idea.
Okay, I just needed to put my Halloween outfit on. That was all.
Oh, wow. I like that. I like that.
It's my
That's
cousin.
becoming.
It's my cousin outfit. Look, my cousin outfit. Like, what's it
awesome.
called? Cousin it. Cousin it.
No idea. No idea.
Cousin it in the Addams Family. You know, cousin it with the glasses and the hair. Cousin it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hey,
All
we
right.
could do a whole podcast on it. But anyway, do you want to tell your guys who I am in case they've forgotten?
Right. Well, this is Nigel. I've got to take these glasses off because I can't see a thing. This is Nigel from the Devil's Playground 2. I keep forgetting mention 2. It's the Devil's Playground 2, but I'll link his channel underneath anyway, in case anybody wants to go and have a look at all this interesting stuff. So what we're doing is we're doing kind of daft thing, really. I just wrote all these letters down on a piece of paper, or what I deemed were the meanings of different letters, and then I sent it through to Nigel this morning, and I laughed at Nigel's response because it was his thoughts on the letters were entirely different than mine, and his thoughts were more sexual.
Ooh,
No,
guys, I'm talking to your subs now, Kim.
All
guys,
right.
There is a podcast on the channel called Sex in the Cit-eye, CIT -EYE, where we basically explain and we go through and we show that everything in this realm, all of it, is based on SEX, the whole boot and dice, all of it. Even if you look at the Greek symbol for 666, 660 and 6, and turn it upside down, it spells sex, right? It's I think it's number 61. If you jump over to my channel and go to videos and scroll down to number 61, you'll understand. So Kim's just trying to what's she trying to do? She's trying to make me. She's kind of accusing me of being a typical male, which I'm kind of not. At least
no, you're not really. I didn't actually kind of mean to infer that, but
no, I know.
It was just that I couldn't. Anyway,
you couldn't resist. You couldn't resist. Be honest, you couldn't resist.
Couldn't resist 3.
No.
Right.
No.
So anyway, the letters of the alphabet. So my friends and I sat around the other day, and we were taking the letters of people's names, and we were doing this like quick interpretation as to whether or not people aligned with the energy of the letters, and we were working out what the different letters meant, and then we put like a story together around somebody's name. I don't know whether that makes any sense at all, but you'll see what I mean in a minute when Nigel starts his presentation. So I sent Nigel
your presentation.
My presentation. I sent Nigel my presentation earlier this morning, and then I filled in all the bits for Nigel, and then when he came home just now from work, he filled in and he overwrote what I'd written.
Changed them. Yeah.
Okay, so over to you, boss.
All right. Well, let me share the screen. Let's get into this, and let's see what you guys think. So what we're looking at here on the left is Kim's take on various on the letters of the alphabet, and on the right you've got mine. So you want to take it away, Kim?
I can't because my screen's flickering like mad and I cannot see it.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll do it. All right, so on the left, we've got Kim's take on the letters in names. A building frame. Okay, we do have what we call an A frame in the building world. So yeah, I agree with that frame. The letter B, the capital B, someone focusing on the now, or good at just being, or breath. Well, you know, arguably, and this is not my idea. Somebody pointed this out to me, that the capital B, if you turn it on its side, you know, it can almost represent like a bra or women's breasts. So I put breath, TS, as in breaths, but somebody might pronounce breasts if they have a talk with a lisp, breaths.
Right.
C, the letter C. Kim, you've got SEE or SEA, someone that sees things with clarity. I just see crescent, as in a crescent moon.
It's quite interesting, because that's quite a remarkable difference. But when you look at the letter C and you put it in the context, I mean, I could ramble on off on a different direction here, and I won't. Something came to mind that I won't go on about. But you, being an English teacher, might be able to explain it a little bit better. So I might ramble on about it. But it's the concept of the I before E except after C.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
that's totally weird. Why? And it's like, the reason that it would be the I before E, meaning the self before energy, except up to C, the reason for that would be because you've already seen it. If the C's before.
Well, there's an exception to that cliche. The full cliche is I before E except after C, unless sounds like an A, as in neighbor and way. So way,
I never heard of that.
I
Never heard of that second part of it. It must be a newer introduction in the 60s, because I've never heard of it.
I remember that from when I was a kid. I mean, if you look at the word way, WEIGH, there's no I before E, right? So it's kind of a what they call it. They call it mnemonics. 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 It's the way of teaching using sounds, pictures, stories, and cliches. I before E except after C. Oh, but well, what about neighbor? NEIGH. What about neigh, as in a horse neighs? So it's look, English is a spellcrafted language. People have got no idea. Most English speakers, Kim, have got no idea. You know, I sent you that document earlier on today that I wrote on behalf of a Chinese English teacher. I was trying to get them to look at English from a completely different angle. When we look at the word spell, I mean, you know, we spell a word. What's a spell? A spell is, you know, we cast a spell. We learn to write. Well, what's a write? A write is a ritual. When we're at school and we learn what we call joined up writing, it's called cursive writing. You know, the list goes on and on and on. All right, so moving on, you've got the D. You said not sure, but we thought it might represent dam or blockage. Well, I see D as dome on its side. If you turn it 90 degrees to the left, you're going to see a dome. And, you know, to bring the sexual connotation into this, which, you know, I'm just doing this on an educational basis rather than being flippant, but the word dome breaks down to do me. Come on, baby, do me. Yeah. The E, we both agree, energy, email, energy or electronic, you know, email, e-bike, you know,
energy,
just energy. Yeah. Now you've got for the F, maybe bold or expressive. Well, I had a mental blockage on this one. So I did a bit of research and I found that the F I mean, we know that F is the 6th letter of the alphabet.
Uh-huh.
And what people probably don't know is they look at Fox News, for argument's sake, FOX. Well, F is the 6th letter.
Yeah.
O's the 15th, 5 and 1 is 6, and X is the 24th, 2 and 4 is 6,
666.
which is 666. And if you think when we were kids, Kim, we both grew up in the 60s. Remember the old game Noughts and Crosses?
Oh, absolutely. And
Well,
the
there you go.
screeching sound, like you
Yeah.
turn the TV on at 11 o'clock at night and you just get this high pitched tone off through the TV throughout the night. I mean, the TV didn't come back on till about 6 or 7 in the morning. It was really late before it came back on.
But when you look at, I think they call it tic-tac-toe, I think in America, but we used to call it noughts and crosses. So, the naught is, as I say, is the 0, the O, which is 15, 1 and 5 is 6, and the X is 24, which is the 24th letter, which is 6, 2 and 4 is 6. And you had to get 3 in a line in order to win, three noughts or 3 crosses, which is the 666. Then I've got family fun. And of course, the obvious F, yes, represents family. And like I said to you earlier, Kim, if you're in a loving relationship, in a good relationship, then you can have fun together with your family. And if you're not, if you just fancy the pants off someone, then you're going to go for the other one. But it's also known as the long S. Now, what's a long S? I threw this picture in, Paradise Lost. You can see the S is clearly written as the letter F, but they tell you online it's called a long S. And they tell you that it was scrapped because when the printing press was invented, so that printers didn't need to keep 2 different versions of the S, which of course, in my opinion, is complete and utter bollocks. We can see here, license, they've used the F. Now, this is supposed to be entered. You see how they've changed, how later on we've changed the E and the R to enter, E-N-T-E-R-D.
Oh, yeah.
Entered according to order, printed and to be sold, but they're using the long S again. They call it the long S. But no, it's all esoteric meanings. Haven't got time to go into it now because we'll be here all night.
I know.
All right, so moving on to the G, God maybe, or elemental. I don't disagree with that, but we know that if you look at the Masonic square and compass, the G is in the center. And according to my own research, which I can assure you is considerable, it stands for generation, but not in the way that we think the word generation actually means, as in the younger generation or the older generation. No, it doesn't mean that. It means as in a generator.
Yeah,
right.
Like a starting point or a kick, like you would use a battery, like you'd use a generator in a car to fire off your caravan, or use the power in your garage.
And when you think of that, I know this might be a little bit difficult for people to grasp on first listening, but when you think of generation and connect it to a generator, something that generates power, then we've got Nigel's take. Why is it, girls? And again, I'm trying to be educational. I'm not being rude. Don't take it the wrong way. Why is it called a G-spot? Because when the G-spot is excited, it gets you going. It generates the feeling. It generates the sexual doomy back to the dome, right? So why is it called a G-spot? Why not an F-spot or a N-spot? Why G? Because it's all connected to generating that power, that feeling, that excitement. That's why it's called a G-spot.
When I put the title in this, I'm going to call it Kim and Naughty Nigel.
Fine. But again, I'm just trying to get people to understand on a slightly higher level.
I'm just playing with you.
I know you are. I know you are. Okay, so the H you got not sure, but I took it to mean heaven and hell. Yeah. Reincarnation is what I see. You've got the first, on the left-hand side, you've got the vertical. Then on the right-hand side, you've got the vertical, and then you've got a bridge.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
the two pillars in the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah. H is the 8th letter of the alphabet.
Yeah. Which is the reincarnate. Yeah. The 8 is the reincarnation. The eternity. Yeah. Infinity, I mean.
Yeah. I, you've got the eye, seeing the world through an eye. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. J, you've got Jesus, the sword carrier, the expression of the collective. Well, what a lot of people don't know is that there was no J in the English language until what we know as the year 1592, which is not 1592, but that's another story. But let's stick with 1592. That's when the letter J actually came into existence, and it's the 10th letter. And in gematria, man is 10, Mom is 10, and Satan is 10. We are all little devils. So the J has a completely different meaning to what people think. K, you've gone for knowledge or knowing, or ken, as in the Scottish word. A lot of people are not going to understand what ken means. In Scotland, if you ken something, you are familiar with something. Not necessarily, you don't necessarily know them. You know, if you ask the Scottish,
it's used in like multiple examples. So I could say, yes. Oh yeah, I ken him, meaning I know him.
Yeah.
Or I could say I ken that already, meaning I know that already. Or I can use it in like a generic form, like yeah, I can kind of.
Yeah.
It's like inner knowing too. It's like it's a much more descriptive. I mean, I don't know whether know really covers it in English, because I don't know. It's just got a little bit deeper context
to know, to understand, to be familiar with would be probably the easiest way to sum it up. But I looked it up in Hebrew, and it's kaf, which is it's actually pronounced calf. Yeah, which connects to Taurus, which connects to the bull ox podcast that we just did. And of course, K is the 12th letter of the alphabet. And 12 is very important in this realm. 12 months of the year, 12 signs of the zodiac, 12 holes in the human body. I'll let you guys work that out. There are 12 holes, especially if you're a female. 12 holes in the human body. So the K is very, very important. Then you've got L. L is the angle, bent. So the frayed angle, so to speak. Well, L in
or the frayed angel, actually, that was like
angel.
The angel, when you spell angel and then you superimpose angle, you get like the bent.
Well,
the bent
it's
angel.
The same. It's the same, because the LE is the EL, and EL is represents the Elohim, the God, the gods of the Old Testament. But in Masonry, and no, guys, I'm not a Mason, but I have read a lot of old Masonic texts. And when I say text, a mate of mine sent me a whole list, and I can't find them online anymore. And they were basically monthly periodicals of like a newsletter from what we know as the 1600s and 1700s. And the L is the cornerstone. If you think of the foundation stone of a building, of course, with it being the L shape, you've got essentially the square. Yeah. So you're basically your level on both sides. Your level north south, your level east west. Right. So that is the importance of the L. M, you've got flow, going with the flow. Well, flow is wolf in reverse, and wolf, feed the wolf. That's the devil and the angel. You know, the two voices in our head, basically.
But well, I kind of got that flow because it's also Sanskrit. It's the Sanskrit word for water. Sanskrit, sorry, Sanskrit word for water.
Yeah.
So I got the M also out from there, and the M, not pointy like it is there, but when it's more like McDonald's M, it kind of looks like a wave. It sort of looks like a wave format for me.
Well, the wave, you've got to kind of think a little bit above the waves of water and think more like a sine wave.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
sine wave.
I mean, the sine wave, but I mean, even if you drop a pebble in the water, you get the sine wave as well, don't you?
Mm, mm.
You know?
Yeah, and the sine wave basically just represents the as above, so below. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
And
then
so
you
then,
said, hold on, you said mountain. You said the M
mountain.
means mountain.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I say it looks like a mountain in the same way that I said earlier. You know, a B could be akin to women's breast, to C crescent, D dome. Then the M, you know, I
That
kind
kind
of
of blew
relate
me
that to a
away when you
mountain.
said that earlier. I was like, all right. There.
So N, you've got bridge, seen in the small version of the letter that looks like a rainbow bridge. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Interesting that with the O, you've got cycle, cyclical, going round and round. I see that again as another version of reincarnation. It's the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. We live in a cyclical realm, but people are of the impression that our time is linear, as in we're born, we live, we die. We're born, we grow up and we get old and we die. So we kind of see it linear, but a clock isn't linear. A clock is circular. You know, everything comes around again. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. Everything is circular. Monday represents the moon. Sunday is the sun. So Monday's the first day of the week. The sun's the last day of the week. What happens every day? We have the sun coming out. The sun goes down. The moon comes up. The moon goes down. Okay, exactly the same with the 7 days of the week. Now, P, you got people, public, or pissing on the world, which I thought was quite interesting. I see P. I'm going for a P. As urine. You are in energy. You are I-N-E. You are in energy. And a lot of people, most people, because we've been indoctrinated and we've been taught this bullshit, that when you go to the toilet for a pee, you're getting rid of waste water. You're not. You're getting rid of excess water. When you go to the toilet to the other end, you are getting rid of food or stuff that you've eaten that your body no longer doesn't need. So you're getting rid of the waste. When you are going for a pee, you know, if you go to the pub and you go and drink 10 pints of beer, you know, you're gonna be once you've broken the seal, as we say, you've had your first one, you're going to be going to the toilet every 10 minutes because you're putting it in one end and it's coming out the other. So it's not waste, it's excess. And people really need to look into urine therapy. And a lot of people will go, oh, that's disgusting. Well, actually, it's surprisingly not once you understand what urine therapy is. Q,
I just want to say about P and why I put pissing on the world right there is because again, a lot of my friends and I use a term like pissing over everything or something like that in order to mark territory. Like it's like a common phrase we use when we are saying, oh yeah, that, you know, that person went to that party and they pissed all over it. Like their energy walked in the room and they completely and absolutely had the attention of everybody in the room. That's it's like a dog peeing or something to mark its territory, or it's just like a phrase we use. I just thought I'd better explain what I meant by pissing on the world.
you could take that one step further and say, if we're making fun of someone, we're taking the piss. Why are we taking the piss? You know, where do these phrases come from? They all have an esoteric meaning, and you jump online and you'll find a dozen different meanings as to why we say taking the piss. And the chances are it's none of them.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's one of the reasons why when I was making this list, I never referred to the internet at all, because
No.
these days, you don't know what's right and what's wrong. I kind of, a lot of the time with these kinds of things, I just go with the feeling.
Yeah. That's the best way, whatever resonates.
Yeah, whatever resonates.
So that leads us to Q. Oh, my word. Hang on. Can I say trust the plan? Oh, Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. And if, I mean, I haven't done this on this presentation, but if you were to sit down and write A through Z, or A through Z in capital letters and A through Z in lowercase letters,
yeah,
you will find that there are 17 differences. When I say that, I mean like a capital X and a small x is the same. A capital Z or capital Z is small
but
z
T
is the
and
same.
T are different. Yeah, and
Well,
B and B are different.
They kind, yeah. A and A are different. N and N are different.
Yeah.
You know, you will actually find there are 17 differences. I mean, you guys can try it for yourselves. I see Q as an escape. You know, I've said the O represents the reincarnation, and on the Q you've got that little tail, which represents getting out of the matrix.
But I also like what you said in relation to question or quest, maybe. Well, if you look at the word quest and then
Ion.
the ion in the end of it, implying energy, or ion's like an ion cannon. To me, ion's like an ion cannon in Star Wars movies shooting out into space. It's like an expression of energy. It's not just energy.
Well,
Stagnant.
again, if you look at someone who would whose English might not be their first language, you look at someone that might talk in what we call broken English.
Yeah.
I on a quest. We would say I'm on a quest. I am on a quest. I on a quest. Which and a quest is to search. And what are we doing? We're researching. We know all this shit.
No.
We know all this shit, but when we're incarnated here, in order for the society, for the some people call them the controllers. I don't call them that anymore. I call them the influencers, because that's what they're trying to do. In order for them to mock us, we have a memory wipe. Now, for those guys listening, go and look. Just jump on YouTube and type in Land of Confusion by Genesis. It's a 2-minute video, right? And they are telling us
I'm going to do that myself. I've never heard of it.
Right Land there. Of Confusion. Land of Confusion, Genesis. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else, but go and look at it. It's a 2-minute video. It will blow you away. They're telling you in plain sight. Mockery.
I can put a link on the bottom of the video to it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Is that a song, or is that just
it's a song? It's an old song from the 80s, I think.
Right.
Land of Confusion.
Yeah.
When we finish doing the recording, I'll open it up and I'll show you. I don't have any browsers open, so it's going to take time. So you've got R for repeat. Rinse and repeat. You sow your seeds in the spring and you reap your harvest in the autumn, and you eat it. Eat. We are batteries. We are batteries. We are copper tops. Our energy is harvested. Long story, complete new podcast. But look at the word reap and eat. We are trapped in well, not trapped, but we are in a reincarnation cycle. We're born, we live, we die. We're born, we live, we die. We keep coming back. It's repeat, reaping and eating.
I've heard, just to sort of interject there, I've heard quite a lot of people say that this particular period that we're living through is different than that. This is an escape point, or an escape pod, or it's a point where it's possible to escape at this era.
Well,
but I don't know.
I could go into a really lengthy tirade, and we talk about this a lot on the channel. If you look at the word Bible, Bi means two, and Bull is Taurus, right? Why is it that the first 5 books of the Old Testament are called the Torah? Torah, Taurus the bull by bull, ox. Ox is the second in the Chinese astrological chart. The ox is number 2. Taurus is number 2 in the Western astrological chart. Bull, ox. What's a baby bull called? A bullock. What do guys have dangling? Bullocks, bull, ox. It's all there.
Never
So
thought
the
of that.
The S, you've got the snake, the personality that has the ability to incorporate the energy of positive, negative to successfully navigate this realm. Well, yeah, if you turn the S on its side, again, it's the sine wave, it's the serpent, and it's connected to the sun.
Okay.
The sun is the son of God. Who owns the sun? God. It's the son of God. Who is the biblical son of God? Jesus. Remember, there was no J until 1592. It was a H.
I know.
He's us. He's us. He's us. If you look at some of the old those Masonic periodicals, the word Jerusalem does not exist. It's higher Jerusalem. H-I-E-R. Higher Jerusalem is how they refer to it.
We need to talk about it. One day we need to talk about breaking down the word Salem then, because we need to look at that. Salem, because Salem is the end of Jerusalem, and the higher could be obviously pronounced as higher Salem. So
yeah,
higher Salem, but on another time we'll talk about Salem.
Sure. Okay, so let's get into the last slide. Kim's take the T, the cross to bear the difficulty, duality. If you look at the lowercase t without the little tail at the bottom, it's the biblical Jesus cross. It's the duality again. It's the good and the bad, the devil, Jesus and Satan, the angel and the demon, which is the it in our head. The voice in our head is what we call the it. Remember that movie by Stephen King? I think he did 2. It's called It.
Yeah.
Right? Well, if you look at the biblical Jesus, without the J, Iesus, right? Iesus. And who was his twin? His twin was Thomas. You have the IT, the AI, the artificial intelligence, the IT, the information technology. Did you know, Kim, that you know how we're taught in the West that God is love, right? Well, in China, where I live, the word love is AI, 我爱你, I love you, 我爱你, AI. You can't make this shit up. That's the word for love. And what we're living in an AI realm. You've got the reflection. Yes, I see YOU, the sine wave again, part of the sine wave. V for victory. V for valley. If we're going to look at the M as being a mountain, then why can't we look at V as being a valley? I know you changed it to virgin. That's just you.
That was me. That was me just saying, right, well, if he's going to go with sex on this, I'll have the V as a virgin. But also the V being the letter 5 in Roman, and 5.
Well,
I've got a thing about 5 representing love, because it's 5. Verbally, it's 5, which is the Dan Winter example of the perfect heartbeats of the 5. So and you in the tarot card as well. I'm not sure what. I'm trying to think which card it is. Where it's, I know it's a wand where the guy's riding in his horse. I think it's a 5 of wands where the guy's riding in on the horse, and it's a fire sign. So that's that's the symbol of victory too. So that's probably kind of infiltrated my consciousness in relation to the letter V.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
if I do that to you, that doesn't mean victory, does it?
Well, actually, what you're doing at the moment, when you put this up on YouTube, people can't see it. So wait until we finish sharing the screen, and then you.
Oh no, they can see that. They can see that on mine. They can.
They can't. They can't on mine.
Mm.
All right. Well, of course, V is Roman for 5. We have 5 fingers or 5 digits on our hands, 5 on our feet. But you know, these Roman numerals are not what you think they are, right? And when I finish sharing the screen, I'll touch on that. I'll tell you what it is. W, you've got double whammy of reflection. W, well, why is it double V? You know, we call it a W, but it's written as 2 V's.
Well, it could be
right?
2 U's as well if it was curly.
Well, yeah, but it's also an inversion of an M. Look at mountain. Look at the M for mountain, and look at W. It's a complete inversion.
But I did a whole book on we me, which is WE, and then if you reverse it, ME, which is me reflecting you, as in we, you being we, and me being me. So it was about the reflection of the outer world.
Okay. X, you've got the crossroads choices. Yes. And that again is a very, very deep subject. I've written cross as in the same as the T, because essentially that's what it is. And again, it's the 24th letter of the alphabet, and 2 and 4 is 6. And in Greek, the X is actually CH. CH means X in Greek. So if you look at the word church, you've got X, you are X, you are double crossed. CH, you are CH. CH is the X.
Wow.
Y, you've got the questioner, and I've got the serpent's tongue, which should be pretty obvious. And then finally, you've got Z, the thunderbolt. And again, Z is just a capital N on its side, which, yeah, would represent the thunderbolt, the from heaven to earth, the duality, the as above, so below.
All right. So before you go any further, from that, either yours or my interpretation, what would you say your name represents? If you take those letters into consideration and what we just discussed about them.
Well, Nigel, you've got the bridge, right? You've got the I, the EYE. You've got the G, the generation, and you've got the L, which L, of course, is the representation of the God, right? So what you've essentially got is you've got the I that sees the bridge to the God, the EL.
So you're and that's the encompassing of what it is that you're doing.
Well, it is, but the EL, the Elohim, they're fake gods anyway.
I know.
I mean, I used Logan's decode yourself, and everything in my script, my scripted. We're living in a script, and our individual lives are scripted. Make no mistake. And everything in mine actually connects to the sun. The sun is Lucifer. The sun is Jesus. Jesus was the light of the world. Lucifer is the light bringer. We wake up, the sun comes up at dawn. What do we call the morning? We call the morning the AM. AM is am. What did the biblical God say? I am what I am. It's all connected, but it's on such higher levels that most people really struggle with it.
All right. So what about my name? Kim.
Well, Kim, you've got the K, which is the connection to Taurus, right? Which is this realm of duality. You've got the I, and you've got the mountain. Yeah. So you have got the I to climb mountains, to be a mountain, to be a giant, to basically do what you're doing. You've got the eye for it. You can see what's going on. You can see that this is a realm of duality. Taurus represents the second house in astrology. I'm not an astrologer. I know very little about astrology, and to be honest, it doesn't really interest me, even though it's actually quite important in this realm.
Yeah, I know.
But it connects to the Taurus. The Taurus as I say, second house in astrology, connects to the ox, which is the second sign in Chinese, in the Chinese zodiac.
All right. So
yeah, so it's all connected.
What about like, I'm trying to think of somebody else who would try Barry. What's Barry?
Well, it's peaks and troughs. I mean, again, you've got the where are we? You've got the sine wave, right? You've got the as above, so below. So you have mountains and valleys and mountains and valleys. Look at any graph where you have the ups and the downs, then mountains and valleys. It's the as above, so below. The duality, the opposite. The opposite of a mountain, arguably, is a valley.
Right. Yeah. No,
yeah.
I know I said Barry, as in, I was trying to think of a name for you to break down as somebody we both know. We both know Barry.
Oh, we'll do that another time.
All
okay.
Right.
Look at this word. What do you see on the screen? GHOTI.
When my screen stops flickering, I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right. GHOTI. I can see that.
Right. How can this word be pronounced as fish? Now, some of you guys out there watching this, you might have seen this, but let me just give me a couple of minutes to play with Kim.
All right.
How can this be pronounced as fish? And I'll show you how crazy English is.
I don't know. You'll have to tell me. I haven't got it.
All right. GH is pronounced as an F in the word enough. I'm just using one example, right? There are many words I could use. I'm just using just to get the point across. The O is pronounced as an I in women. We say woman, but when we talk about the plural, it's women.
Women, yeah.
Yeah. And the TI is pronounced as an SH in words like nation, nationality. Right. So your GH represents the F, the O represents the I, and the TI represents the SH. So your GHOTI is FISH. Phonetically is fish. Right. Now, you know, if somebody wants to try and tell me that English is not crazy, then please try. Because I've written blogs on it. It's part of my book. There's a whole chapter in my book, the first book that I wrote, on how insane and how occulted the English language is. Yeah. Right. So what I know what I was going to go back to. I was going to go back. You're going to go back
to Roman numerals.
Right. Roman numerals are not what you think they are. Okay, so you, Kim, are a tradesman, and you make sheds, right? So I order a shed, a wooden shed from you. You're going to go out. You're going to cut all the trees down. You're going to cut all the wood, right? And then you're going to bundle it all up, and you're going to send it to me, and I'm going to build that shed in my back garden. Now, how are you going to number the pieces of wood? Now, you're using an axe to chop down the trees.
Right.
What?
Okay. Yeah. One,
two,
2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The V.
Yeah.
The X. Yeah. That is how even the M, the L. When you get into
what about the
higher numbers, the C, you wouldn't have that many parts in a. We wouldn't have that many bits of wood in a shed, but you still could arguably write a C with 3, you know, like an E, but without cuts, without the middle bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So when it comes to the 5 and the 7, the 7's very, very important because, as you know, in this realm, we have 7 days of the week. We have 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 notes on a musical scale, 7 quote unquote planets. What are the 7 holes in the head? 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 seas, 7 continents, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, 007, you know, the seventh son of the seventh son. But what a lot of people don't realize and don't know, look at your right hand. You have a 7 on your right hand. And on your left hand, you have a mirror of that 7. Yep, I can see it right there. So when you put your 2 hands together, like you're going to pray, not that you should, because pray is P-R-E-Y, not P-R-A-Y. One is literally a mirror image of the other. So you've got a 7 on your hand, you've got 5 fingers, 5 toes. How many bones do you have? You've got 3 in each finger, you've got 2 in your thumb, right? So you basically got 14 and 14, which is 28. How many days in a lunar month? Oh, wait, 28, right? It's actually 27.43 from memory. And 273 is absolute zero. A woman is pregnant for on average 273 days.
Wow.
It just goes on and on and on. I mean, I could talk for hours on this shit. And I know people watching this now are looking at their hand going, where's the 7? Oh yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
And then you'll
So
go and check
it's
your
like,
husband and
it's like there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then look at your
Yeah.
left hand and you'll see a mirror image
Yeah.
of that 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, on your left hand.
Yeah.
And again, 5 fingers, 5 toes. So you've got the reference to the V, the 5, the valley. You've got the reference to the 7. Everything in this realm is 7 days of the week. You know, it's all there. It's all connected. It's all fake. We're living in a hologram. We're living in a virtual reality game. Nothing is real. Do you remember that song, Kim? The Beatles, Strawberry Fields.
Yeah. Strawberry
Let me
Fields
take you.
Forever. Let me take
Let
you
me
down.
take you down because I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to
Strawberry Fields.
Nothing is
Nothing
real.
is real,
There's
and there's nothing
nothing
to
to
get hung
get
about.
hung about. Strawberry Fields Forever. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
judging. I think my
Yeah.
singing. I hate that.
We did a podcast. It's not the most recent one. It's the one before, called "Give Us This Day." And I'm getting so much flack. I'm getting so much flack, Kim, from people that have said I've listened to that song and I can't get it out of my head.
I was going to tell you that. I was going to tell you that when I was talking to you this morning. For like 48 hours, that song just played, and I was trying to overprint it with this song that this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. So try to overprint it with that because I felt that was more helpful than the other one. The other one was doing the head in.
Honestly, I don't know what happened. The song came out in 1982.
Yeah.
Today is, where are we? Today's my Thursday. This would have been last Friday.
Right.
I woke up with this fucking song in my head, and all was just playing over and over was "Give us this day all that you showed me," and it wouldn't go away. Now, I live in China. It's not like somebody was playing it.
No.
You know what I mean? This thing came out of nowhere. The song's nearly 40 years old. I haven't heard it for decades.
Yeah.
And this
I
song's playing
never heard it
over in my head.
before you played it the other day, and I couldn't get it out of my head.
Oh, I loved that song when, you know,
I didn't know it.
Back in the 80s.
When you played it to me the other day, I didn't know it.
Yeah. And it was Logan from Decode Your Reality that always says, if ever a song just pops into your head, go and decode it, go and have a look at it. So that's exactly what I did.
I get that all the time.
I was crying. I told you I was crying. It made me cry.
Why did it make you cry? Did you recognize why or not?
Yeah, I know exactly why.
Are you going to tell me?
Yeah, sure. I quote unquote woke up back in the beginning of 2017. Although when I was a kid, I knew that everything was fake. I was called a rebel, didn't conform. I'm going back to when I was at primary school, but then of course you get indoctrinated into the system. But I've always known in my heart of hearts that there's something ain't right. And I'm blessed. I really am blessed because, you know, I've been in China for 7 years teaching English, and I have so much free time. It isn't funny. I actually, you know, I work. I have 2 classes a day, so I have an hour and a half class. I usually go in an hour before, and I'll hang around for half an hour. So I'm looking at 4 hours a day. The rest of the time I spend researching, and I never stop. I've written 3 books, 4 actually, but the fourth one's not out yet. But everything that I've learned, Kim, I what was the trigger for me was the Mandela effect. And a lot of people think it's all crap. It doesn't really matter. You know, it can't be proven, it can't be disproven. But the important thing is, did it work? Did it have an effect on you? And people can sit and debunk it and say it's all a load of crap. Well, fine. I really don't care. But for me, it was profound. It woke me up and it made me start going down various rabbits holes, not
Right.
rabbit holes, not rabbit holes, because that's bad English. Rabbits holes. So everything, Kim, everything that I have researched, and as I say, I've been down every fucking hole you can possibly imagine, has been shown to me, right? I haven't been told,
I got
I've been
light.
shown. Cool. Yeah. I can see you now. I can see your pretty face. So everything that I've learned, I have been shown. And, you know, we do have a saying in the what we affectionately call the truth community, that you can't tell anyone anything. You've got to show them. And it might be something simple that I might jump on YouTube, be looking at something, and something pops up in the feed on the right hand side of the screen. And go, oh, that's interesting. Have a look at that. And that's another hole that I end up going down. So essentially, everything that I've learned has been shown to me, right? Now, when we look at humanity as a whole, when we look at, you know, the Walking Dead out there, what made me cry, and when I say cry, it wasn't sadness, I wasn't blubbering, but I'm like, oh my God, I was wiping tears from my eyes. Was because, and it's funny because Ultravox actually made a song called Dancing with Tears in My Eyes. You can't make this shit up. But what the profound moment was for me was the line, give us this day all that you've shown me. Because everything that I've learned has been shown to me, all of it. Yeah. And then, yes, I've done my own research. I've gone down various rabbits holes in order to get to the level that I'm at now. But what made me cry was the give us this day all that you've shown me. That was the trigger. That was the trigger, right? And I'll be honest, it made me cry. It made me cry. Why should I be so privileged as to get all this information and be shown all this information, but other people, my friends and family and colleagues, are not? Is it because I'm open to it? I'm receptive to it? Well, one thing I can assure you is that the more you learn and the more receptive you become to this kind of information, the more you are given, right? And that might sound crazy, but do you remember that line from A Few Good Men? I think it was the movie, when Tom Cruise says, I want the truth.
Yeah.
You can't handle the truth. Well, a lot of people can't. And some of the stuff that I've received, some of the info that I've had in the last, let's say the last 12 months, I couldn't have handled 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I couldn't have handled it. So it is a journey. It is a progression.
I've
And
been on it for a long time. I've been on this journey for a very long time.
well,
And
I think the more you see and the more you accept and the more you understand, then basically the more more stuff is given to you. And all that comes from your higher self. Whatever people think, they call it your guardian angel or, whatever you want to call it, is your higher self. And your higher self is the opposite to what you are. In this realm, you're female. You're 50% female energy and 10% male energy. Your higher self is the other 40% male energy. The opposite for me. My higher self is 40% female energy.
okay, is there
Right?
any negotiation on that? Like, could you bring more male energy with you? Could you leave less up there and bring more with you if that was your?
Well, there was something that that Harry and I were talking about, and I threw this at you a couple of
That was
weeks
a
ago.
twin thing. I mean,
And there was the twins.
I reckon that would be stupid. I reckon you'd be absolutely crazy to bring the whole essence incarnate, because if you ended up on different continents for some reason, something random thought came in my head, but you ended up, living apart from each other because of your lives going in different directions. Then
right. Well, let me stop you there just to bring the anybody watching this up to speed. What we were talking about was twins, right? And you'll notice that most twins that you've come across during your incarnation, during your life, they've either been two boys or two girls. Which, they could be up there as being good buddies. Hey, let's go down together, right? You very, very rarely see twins that are a boy and a girl, because that could quite possibly mean that the whole of your essence, I mean, think of the yin yang, the 50-50, the fire and the water, the God and the devil, or the angel and the demon. Everything is duality. So in our spiritual form, we are 50-50. We are 50% female energy, 50% male energy. If we decided to incarnate as male and female, then neither of you basically have got a higher self. You don't have a guide. So as you quite openly, blatantly said at the time that I threw this at you a couple of weeks ago, you said you'd have to be fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And I totally agreed with you. I totally agreed with you.
Yeah.
And then just before we wrap this up, Kim, just to take it to a not another level, but let's just take it one step further. We think we've got free will. All right. We don't. We do and we don't. Like, if I want to go and get a drink, I can go and get a drink. If I want to go to the bathroom, I can go to the bathroom. If I want to go to the shops, I can go to the shops. So if you think of a field, a very, very big field, let's call it an acre, right? And in the middle of that field, you have a tree, right in the middle, and a horse. And you put a rope around that horse and you tie it to the tree. That horse can go anywhere within that field. He can't get out of the field, but he doesn't want to get out of the field. He's got no need to get out of the field. He can go anywhere he wants in that field. So he's got free will. He's got free will. He thinks he's got free will. And that's what happens. This is why the word God doesn't mean what we think it does. And dog is the reverse of God. We are all on a leash. Our God, our personal God, is our higher self. We are the dog.
What was that video called? That one where you presented that concept with the?
Oh, we've done a couple. We've done one called Bark Bark Baby, which is I think that's probably the one that people should look at.
No, I think it was a later one than that. It wasn't called Bark Bark Baby. It was the one where you it's a really popular one.
The copy and paste is the most popular video that we've done.
Right.
But the one you're talking about, don't worry about it for now, because when we finish this, you can find it. You can pop a link in the description.
Okay.
But yeah, essentially, we are all dogs on a leash, which is why soldiers wear a dog tag and priests wear a dog collar. You know, it's all connected. And if you look at the word lead, as in leash, a dog's leash, we call it a lead, L-E-A-D, which is lead. We are lead transmuting into gold, which is the sun. So our energy is being loosed, being sucked. We're turning lead into gold. We are dogs on a lead.
So that concept, when you were talking about that dog on a lead, so I'm the dog, my higher self's the guard, and there's a leash between the two of us. That's what you're basically. So when you introduced that concept to me, it gave me a whole new insight in relation to being psychic, because it made me think of, when I thought about that, I thought, wow, well, if that's the case, then my God upstairs, the other half of me, knows everything.
Yeah.
So I'd always assumed that because I'm very psychic with people, and I'd always assumed that the knowledge about them, or the knowledge that came through, I'd always assumed it came through from them. I'd always assumed when I looked into somebody's eyes that it was them I was connecting with. And when you told me the guard dog story, I went, wow, well, that might mean that it's actually not coming from them. It's actually, the information's still coming from upstairs, and it's telling me because I'm in proximity to this person and their higher self, you know, it's the two higher parts that are actually interacting.
You do get interference. I mean, what you got to remember. I mean, a lot of people in the esoteric world, and you know, they talk about the silver cord, like the umbilical cord. Well, that's your leash. That's the same thing. That's your connection with your higher self. Now, your higher self knows your script, and your higher self has your best interests at heart, because once you quote unquote die, in order to get out of this matrix, you have to reunite with your higher self, right? And this is why, if you got 50% female energy, 50% male energy in your previous life, you could have been a dude, because, you know, a case of, well, hang on a minute, you know, I went down last time, it's your fucking turn, so this time you're down as a girl, you're down as a female.
I don't know that it's that. Anyway, I'm going to cut it off here, otherwise we're going to get so long that it's going to get too much for people to listen to.
Okay.
We can always get together another time and
sure,
and do another recording. So
it's been fun.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, cheers guys, bye.
Bye.